Shout out to them, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Oh my gosh. Are we live? I think we're live.
We're live?
I think we're overly live.
Are you live? Lit, loud, nerdy. Yeah, whatever that song be saying.
Wait, is it you talking about that? But wait, wow, dang. Up, down, come here.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I love my God. Yeah. Who is that?
That was, I can't remember. I just know that's back in the glory days.
That's
I'm trying to bring back 2016.
That's 2016. Shout out to 2016. That was an overly great year. All right. Welcome everybody back to the YJP, the Why Jesus podcast, episode 3. This is a very special episode. I got one of the guys, one of my homies. You know, he's an entrepreneur, Christian content creator, just a creative in itself. He does a lot with, what would you call it, like video, like graphic design. Does a lot of graphic design.
Yeah.
He has his own clothing line. If you know about the Cove, Nashville, he is one of the founders of that. Jon Diggs is in the building.
Yo, what's poppin', noise?
Yeah. So, Jon, thank you for coming, bro.
Honored to be here.
Jon and I, if y'all don't know, the way that we connect is through music. So we gotta start with the music. You gotta start with the music. You already know. Y'all about to get put on if y'all don't even know. This is one of my favorite songs. I think you actually put me on this song.
It's on hard.
He sent me this one.
4 shows in a month. Who opened that door wouldn't cross on my back like I'm at Flow the Code. Certified with a tech cause I stick to the code. All glory to who, boy, you already know. That I LNG, boy, I'm gifted and lifted. I'm so up with a spirit.
You are now in the mix with DJ Savage.
I'm fixing to get it with a Bible in my hand, man. It look like I'm fencing. Focus don't need me no lenses. I sharpen my season like Scarlet with vision. It be adventure time. Adonai says he my venture 9. I'm bearing fruit to share, but it's not no great serving peace out of day. Oh, check. I know them streets ain't fair, so I'm not out there. I've been paving the way. Oh.
Bro, he rapping like he going through something.
I feel like the rent was due. The rent might have been due.
He rapping like he been through something.
No cap.
Only do to go to cast everywhere. Let's start with the obvious apple. Got the people stuck, yeah, they looking impaired. So I know we fighting them lions and tigers. Don't forget about the fruit that you bear, the spiritual fruit. I'm not talking no pears.
Hold on.
I had to go De La Cruz. Shout out to De La Cruz, man.
Shout out De La Cruz.
Had a great year, great 2025 off the back. Great year.
On a crazy run.
Crazy run.
My heart was like just like 10. I wanna know what's showing 10. We keep dogs up in the yard, so don't try to jump the fence. Jesus Christ, my bill of check, so we don't go. He called a blitz, called a flag. I know
this snare roll is crazy. Oh no, not on that one.
Gotta play when I get mad. I don't need no. I wanna ride. He told me.
Bro, that little whistle.
That whistle is great. That's like that whistle. It's like remind me of Future,
I was
like
gonna
a
say,
future
that
future whistle.
Yeah. That was an elite ad-lib.
Yeah.
I just bring my half, he bring his half, and we go all the way. Let's go put my staff against your staff. We tear down all the stuff. What black you like 10?
I want to know what's your intent.
Keep dogs up in the yard, so don't try to.
This is the perfect combo of a beat that's fire, lyrics is fire.
Come on.
Like he's going crazy.
Bro.
Lay up, gon' hit.
Shout out to Efosa.
Bro, his voice is so unique.
Yeah. Bro, the way he be like his melodies, it's amazing, bro. The way he be doing it. Shout out to Efosa. W beat selection too.
Bro, this beat's crazy.
W beat selection. Shout out to the producer, whoever made this beat. Shout out to you. I'm being real.
I was gonna say, did you produce this one?
Nah, I didn't produce this one. I'm gonna have to show you. I'll show you at the end the one I produced with. I'll show you at the end.
Bet.
Swing that rock tonight. I'm like Jalen Hurts. Love you, I admit it. My God, diamond smell. While I cherry part outside, I know the windows turning.
Bro, in my old whip, this, cause you know I had the Cadillac. I had the Cadillac, but now I got the Honda. This song will go crazy. Like I don't know what they did mix wise on that, but this it's insane.
I gotta blast it.
You have to blast it. I don't care. On the back. We here again. If you're just now joining us, man, this is the YJP Why Jesus podcast, episode 3. I got my guy Jon Diggs here. So as y'all know, this is just a platform for people to share how Jesus changed their lives, and so we might just let Jon take it away, take us through his lore, as he likes to say. Through his lore, because we were talking about this before.
Yeah,
I don't know any of it.
yeah.
I don't know any of the lore, because when we met, we just started
We
just
clicked.
yeah, we just clicked, but we started just talking about stuff that was happening just then, like within 2025,
Yeah.
like that whole year. Like we didn't really talk about.
Is it weird? I don't like asking people for their testimony. I feel like that's like a Christian thing. Maybe I'm not saved enough.
Nah, bro.
That's just not something I care to do.
And that's fair, you know. And I was talking about this at La Casa. I can't remember. We were having I think if it was Empower or Equip, one of those days. But they were talking about like you don't, like when you first meet somebody, you don't have to like share your whole testimony. Like you don't have, they don't need to necessarily know the deepest, darkest things that God has brought you out of or done through. Like that could be something that's revealed over time, and you can condense a testimony. Like what is it, like a 2-minute testimony that they yeah
2-minute testimony.
2-minute testimony, and that's really all you need.
Sometimes ignorance really is bliss.
For real, especially in the Christmas. Like I don't need to hear you were strung out on crack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You was in the alley. Like I don't need to hear that
Don't
necessarily.
need to know that you was getting bent 100 different ways. Like, come on, bro.
That's not something you necessarily need to share.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So Jon, why Jesus, bro? Tell the people. Let's take it back.
So this kind of ties into my favorite verse of all time, which is Galatians 2:20, which says, "For I have been crucified with Christ, so there's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me.
That's
in this
good.
life I live in the flesh. I live by the faith of the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me." So for me, choosing Jesus was a choice of coming to an understanding of my identity, because I didn't really understand who I was, and for a long time I didn't, and I'm still figuring it out. It's like an ongoing journey.
Yeah,
but
we all are.
Jesus is the glue for that.
Yeah.
So starting back when I was like a young kid, bro. Actually, like, if we gonna get into it, I gotta lay context for everything.
Yeah,
bro.
that's we want all the detail.
All the details.
Yeah.
Okay, so my mom, whenever she was growing up as a young kid, she went to the same church as this one evangelist. So my grandma, she's like a big spiritual figure within our family. And she would always make sure that her kids were in church, but she had a special relationship with my mom to where she just knew like my mom is going to gravitate towards the faith more. So with this evangelist that went to the church that they went to, my grandma would be like, "Hey, Erica," my mom, she'd be like, "Go talk to that man, give him a hug, da-da-da-da-da." So they got connected. And this relates to my story because this is the first experience of church that I could really recollect. I went to a church before that, and my mom and dad, they ended up leaving because the pastor was on some creepy time and he was trying to like hook up with my mom. My mom was like, "Can't go." That happened when I was like 3. I barely remember that church, but this church that I remember was like very formulative to my early years.
Yeah.
So when my mom leaves that first church, that was a little creepy. We go to this church, proceed to be nameless for reasons that I'll get into. But this church that I went to was just very charismatic. And for those of you that don't really understand what charismatic is, it's displays of like spiritual gifts. If you're familiar with Black church, you'll see it a lot. People speaking in tongues, people running around, stuff like that.
Jumping up and down
and stuff like that.
Doing laps around the church.
100%, bro. And I experienced all of that to like the 10th degree. So I would say it's hyper charismatic.
Yeah.
And it was just weird for me because I remember when I was a kid, my dad wasn't really involved in the church and my mom was. So there'd be times when I would go to church with my mom, but my dad wasn't there. Didn't understand why that was important. But as I've gotten older, I realized I didn't know what it looked like to be a man of God because I didn't see one in my home. The only displays of men of God that I saw were those in the church. And as a result of that lack of knowledge of how they live day to day, I'm now looking at people idolizing them, pedestalizing them. They're sharing their testimonies, but to your point, they're not sharing their flaws.
Wow.
And so now I'm thinking like, oh, like I got to be perfect. And that was something I didn't realize until later. I just remember though, growing up as a kid, like, oh yeah, church is just one of those things that you go to. You see people speaking in tongues. You see people running around the church. You join in. And I always felt different, but I didn't know why. Now, as a kid, I was on fire for the Lord. That's what they tell me, at least. I would go to school. I'll be preaching about how if you don't get saved, you're going to go to hell. They told me I had to stop preaching in school. They told me that I was telling people.
Public school?
Public school.
Okay, yeah. That's why.
Yeah. I was telling kids, like, yeah, Santa Claus is not real. You need to stop lying.
Wow.
Da, 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 da.
Bro,
Like,
that was me too.
Yeah.
I told him off the back. I remember, like I was there. I was like 6 years old. I straight up told him, I was like, he's not real. It's your parents.
Yeah.
And I remember the church leaders being mad at me, but that's sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
I remember I sympathize with that for sure.
Yeah. And so even with that, bro, like, just there's a call of God early on my life where I'm sharing the gospel, and I know that the enemy, he definitely like tries to attack people early on with that. So
Definitely.
this is something I'll kind of touch on later. But like as a kid, I was just very like sexually curious. I wasn't like active, but like I don't know. I just remember like just being fascinated by the idea of sex, or like just like private parts in general, stuff like that. Like I'm not trying to be weird, but it's just like
It's
as
real.
a kid, bro,
Yeah.
I was just like super explorative, and I didn't know why. Now we'll touch on why later. I think that there was a doorway open, but I didn't even find out until I'm 23, bro. It's crazy how stuff just becoming full circle in my life. So I could tell the enemy was like combating me. So anyways, growing up, I'm starting to see displays of charismatic gifts that I didn't really understand.
Yeah.
I'm faking the funk. You feel me? Because now it's, if you're not speaking in tongues, there's something wrong with you. You've been in this
Yeah.
church too long to not
Yeah.
be speaking in tongues.
Wow.
You've been in this environment too long to not really understand.
Yeah.
And so I just remember I like didn't know for a long time, like even now I still struggle, like, do I really have the gift of tongues? Because I feel like I was faking it for so long.
Yeah.
Like if I don't hit a flow state when I'm praying in the spirit, it feels like I'm faking it.
Bro, that's such an important I want to pause there for a second, because I feel like that's when you get into people who are hyper spiritual, and it not everybody is gonna be able to pray in tongues. Like that's like not everybody's gonna have that gift. Like there's reason why there's 9 gifts of the spirit. Like everybody's gonna have their own gift, you know. So like that's such a because I experienced that too as well. Like being in a charismatic church and in college is kind of just like you kind of just like you see that all around you. So like that's what you want to do. Like you want to do that,
Right.
But that's where. So was it like it seems like you're talking about it was kind of more of like an identity type of crisis thing with being in a charismatic church and wanting that, but you not necessarily feeling it to the degree of the authenticity, you know?
1000%, bro. Because I just remember like seeing people. There's this movement in the Midwest. I forget what they call it, but it was like very popular from like the 50s to like the 80s of like hyper charismatic, hyper grace or whatever, and it still carries on to this day.
Yeah.
But I know that this is where it came from, where it's like, oh yeah, you get drunk in the spirit. So
yeah.
now people are
Yeah.
rolling on the ground, they're
Yeah.
laughing, and
Yeah.
full of the Holy Spirit, pretending like they're drunk.
Right.
I'm not saying that's fake. I just don't know, theologically speaking, if that's what Paul meant. Right.
That's
what
good.
the apostles meant. I could
That's
be
good.
wrong. That
And-
being said, I'm not going to deny the power of God either. I'm
100%.
Sure
That's what I was
experienced
gonna
that.
say. Yeah.
So I just know for me, whenever I saw that happening, we're in like revivals, we're in services 3-4 hours, and they're doing that for a good 30 minutes to an hour. I'm like, okay, do I just sit here and then have the pastor single me out, or like do I join in? So I'm like, I'm gonna join in. Did I feel it? No. But a lot of my understanding of what faith was at the time was like, okay, you need to feel this for it to be real.
Yeah.
And that's not true either. So I just remember feeling very disconnected from my faith for a very long time. Didn't realize how that impacted me. But as a result, as I'm getting older, we switched schools. I went to public school as a child, and then middle school, we started going to a private Christian school.
Okay.
And so now I'm placed in an environment where I'm formerly experienced or used to diversity, but now you're one of 5 black kids in your grade.
Wow.
There's like 90% white students. They're kids of affluence. They're kids that you know what I'm saying? Like I see the difference between a house and a mansion for the first time. I'm seeing kids pull up to school in crazy whips.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful, forever grateful, because it's like it gives me vision, it gives me aspirations, hope, dreams, or whatever. But at the same time, like there's a disconnect once again.
Yeah.
And I just remember like my whole life, bro, like it just felt marked by being different.
Yeah.
I'm a twin, right? That's
There you
another
go.
important thing. I have 2 brothers. I look like my older brother, but
You do, but
I-
you don't look like your twin, which is crazy.
I have a fraternal twin. And
Yeah.
the crazy thing is, me not looking like my fraternal twin is very important, because it's like people will start calling me twin because they couldn't memorize my name.
Right.
They're like, Eric's my older brother, Jordan's my twin. They'd be like, there's E in the twins. I didn't realize I didn't have an identity. I didn't realize that stripped me of who I was as an individual.
They just grouped y'all together.
Exactly. Yeah. But because of how different me and my twin were, it always bothered me.
Yeah.
Didn't understand why. Now I'm in a place where private school, I'm with my twin brother. He's in the same grade, and now I'm still feeling different. It's like the classism. It's the racism. Like I experienced racist stuff going to a private school.
Wow.
And I just remember my parents put a drive in us to be different. It was always like, make sure you get grades, make sure you try the best at sports, whatever. So now I'm in an environment where I'm trying to like succeed. There's all this outside pressure, and I'm like, man, like I'm learning to adapt.
Yeah.
I'm learning to fit in. I'm learning how to perform. And this is carried across all the spaces that I'm in. I started playing football in the 6th grade. Had no passion for football, but all my homies was playing football.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I'm trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Feel me? Mind you, I'm like 85 pounds. I didn't cross 100 pounds, gang, until like my 8th grade year. Maybe my 8th grade, because I wrestled 106 in 8th grade. Like I was small.
Oh, bro, I didn't even know that you wrestled. This is why this is crazy. I didn't know that you wrestled until you posted a pic of you and your twin in what is singlets? What do they call it?
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, yo, he wrestled. Like I didn't.
I have so much lore that I just don't be tapping into, bro.
No, that's crazy. Sorry.
Nah, you're good. So once again, I'm learning to adapt and I'm learning to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And so who Jon truly is still being heavily like formed by the people around me.
Yeah.
I'm looking for validation. I'm looking for acceptance. And it's weird. Like I know like Jesus is this person who died for me. I recognize that he's God. I know I need a relationship because if I want to go to heaven,
right,
I need to believe in this guy.
Right.
At the same time, I'm struggling with stuff. Like I got exposed to porn when I was like 10, and it was like out of curiosity. I remember being in 4th grade. I had a friend. He was like, "Oh yeah, man, I watch rated R movies. Da 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 da. They be having X, Y, and Z." And as a kid, I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
Mind you, like I'm a kid in 4th grade. I had a bedtime of like 8:30. It was dumb early. I didn't even know there's a time after 8:30. I'm like, bro, what? What do you mean
out.
12 a.m.?
Lights out. Lights out, bro.
So
I feel that.
I remember he's like, "Yeah, man, I've seen naked girls and da 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 da." I'm
Wow.
like, "What?
Wow.
What does that look like?" You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even on some, I'm trying to be lustful. Curiosity sparked.
Curious type.
And I genuinely believe, like, Satan has put a bait in men to get them hooked on things at such an early age, because it's like the way that porn, lust impacts your brain, it just desensitizes you to so much.
So much, bro.
So, 4th grade, computer, you know what I'm saying, looking stuff up, trying to figure out like what it is. And I just remember like the moment I felt like my innocence was taken. Like I saw what I wasn't supposed to see, or registered what I'm looking at, and I'm like, something's just different. And I knew like deep down in my soul this was wrong.
Right.
And so like I started hiding that. Like I started deleting history and everything like that. Like nobody had to teach me that. It's crazy. No one has to teach you how to sin.
Yeah.
No one has to teach you how to hide your sin. Like I'm like Adam in the garden. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm hiding my sin. So now I'm going to a church where they're talking about how you shouldn't struggle with lust. I'm going to a church that I don't really understand, like, why I live the way that I live.
Saying you shouldn't struggle with lust? Like, it shouldn't be a struggle? That's
Yeah. Like, you got to overcome that joint.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. But they're saying, like that, like, were they saying it from the point of, like, that you can't struggle with that? Like, that's just not it. Like,
the way it was spoken about, it's like the freedom in Christ that you got is really how you're supposed to live. So if you're struggling with that, it's like, it just wasn't great.
Yeah.
I'm going to touch on that too.
Okay, yeah.
We'll get there. So, like, I'm going to a church where I feel disconnected. I'm going to a school where I feel disconnected. I got parts of me that I'm hiding. So, like, this is all fracturing my soul, and I'm not aware. At church, I'm living one way. At school, I'm living another way. At home, I'm living another way, fracturing my soul.
Yeah.
And so, like, you can only wear a mask for so long, but the mask for me was learning to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think even now, whenever people talk about like the way that I'm gifted and it's like in so many different areas, it's like I just learned to adapt to so many different things.
Yeah.
And the Lord has really put glue together to like help me understand, what do I care about? What do I want to do? But anyways, another crazy experience with this charismatic church, which is why I talked about like not struggling with lust, is you got put on Front Street if you got caught struggling.
Yeah.
One of those where it's like, come down to the front, apologize to the whole church. You was having sex.
What?
Oh, you're struggling with porn? Confess. Let them know.
Wow.
In the service, pastors walking up to you, feel me, in your section, talking about sex and struggling with sex. Now, he might not name drop sometimes, but if I'm standing in your looking at you this whole time, you know what I'm saying? Like, sorry for the audio only people, but if I'm looking at you the whole time,
Right.
and I'm not name dropping, it's like everybody else in the church is gonna know what's
what
going
you're
on.
talking.
Like,
That's crazy.
you honing in on this for what? And so, tying back into this idea of like perfectionism that I saw from the leadership,
Yeah.
I had a youth pastor, and the pastor, they were father-son duo, right? And I remember growing up, the pastor would always brag about the youth pastor, like, yeah, his testimony is he's a virgin till he gets married. He's gonna marry a virgin, blah 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 blah.
Okay.
And so there was always this stigmatized pressure to be like perfect in this
Right.
area of lust. Now, because of the way they went about with ministry, my rule of thumb was everything but sex is cool. Like, sex is the thing you don't
that's
touch.
that.
And so I didn't realize like what purity was, because I'm like, okay, I'm struggling with porn in secret, but
Right.
but I haven't had sex, so it's like it's not that bad.
Right.
Whole time it's really eroding my soul.
Yeah.
And so I saw this role model, this figure in the faith, and I watched how he carried himself, and for a long time he was really a legitimate role model. And I don't know what pressures he faced. I don't know what that internalized thought process was of like having a pastor every Sunday brag about how his son's a virgin and doing things right. But it wasn't up until I went to this church for like 17 years.
Wow.
So I started from 3, left at like 20.
Mm.
It wasn't until I was like starting to get older where I just started seeing things get off. I'm like, oh snap. Like, as I got older, I started hanging out with the youth pastor more. I started seeing him let his walls down. I started seeing how human he is. I started seeing him joke about things that I'm like, I'm in high school. Like, we talk like this.
Yeah.
You joking like this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? A Jackbox game. That's the kind of stuff we be doing.
Crazy.
And so I'm like, oh, you're not necessarily who I thought you were.
Right.
But it was like, all right, cool. You're relatable.
Yeah.
Then comes out slowly but surely, like, oh yeah, the youth pastor wasn't actually like that faithful. Like, he stumbled in college, like in grad school, and apparently he was a dog on campus. I'm talking to people that used to go to the church that left because they got put on Front Street, weren't comfortable. Like, yeah, I saw him at parties. I saw him like, these are things that he wasn't supposed to do.
Right.
So now my standard, who should have been Jesus, but was my youth pastor, is broken. So now it's like, okay, if he failed in that area, what chance do I have? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that kind of disillusioned me. And as I got older too, like, I just got disillusioned with so much with church culture. Shoot, bro, we got kicked out of that church.
Y'all got kicked out?
Yeah. So on top of the pastor putting people on Front Street, I'm sure he just needs therapy, bro. But he's the type of person that prays everything away. I remember growing up, my mom got this thing from him, and I'm so glad she doesn't say it no more. Like, the importance of educating yourself as a believer is massive. So he would go around and be like, tell your face that Jesus got you happy. Mind you, people would be grieving over the loss of loved ones. But nah, you got to be joyful, because the joy of the Lord is our strength. You can't go through nothing, like, you know what I'm saying? If you're going through something, you just got to like thug it out, be happy.
Wow.
So there's no room for processing, and he lived a very traumatic life. And so now he's in the pulpit Sunday over a flock of people, teaching them spiritually. He's very gifted. Like, I'm talking about seeing miracles on the regular. That was another reason why it was like hard for me to be like, oh, like, faith is fake. My brother blew out his ACL, got healed in 6 weeks. Like, I'm seeing stuff that I can't deny, but I still don't feel like I'm fully integrated there.
Yeah.
So he's very spiritually sound, or not, I won't say sound. He's very spiritually adept.
Yeah.
With
Very spiritually spiritual.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. But theology's all off.
Right.
And the way that he cares for souls is not really good. And so he would be yelling at people. He would handle things in service that you should have handled in private. I remember one time, bro, like I said, my dad growing up wasn't really that big of a like churchgoer. So he'd be in and out consistently. And when we started having my mom went on this journey to get educated. The pastor didn't really like that, but my mom, she wanted to be a pastor. She wanted to plant a church under this pastor, right? So she starts getting educated. The pastor didn't really like that, because the theology that she's learning is actually the right theology.
So it's challenging. Yeah.
Right. So my mom, she started traveling, and she would miss a lot of Sundays because she'd be out of town. My dad, he'd be like, oh, I got to get her from the airport. Mind you, this church I went to, hour away.
Wow.
Both ways. So we're traveling 2 hours to and from church.
Yeah.
For most of my life. The church logo was like, or the church motto was like, a church that's alive is worth the drive, which, you know, that's where God calls you to. I agree.
Facts.
So, I remember one Sunday, he's like, yeah, man, if y'all don't go to church, y'all need to text me and let me know. If you're not showing up, y'all got to let me know. I don't know why people don't let me know.
Yo.
Right. So this church is, by the way, like 250 members.
I was just about to ask, how big was the church?
Small church. So when people talk about like a whole other thing, but when people talk about mega churches and like the problems with mega churches, I'm like, bro, there are different problems for different churches.
Yeah.
No church is perfect.
Facts.
And so I didn't realize at the time he was talking about my dad. Because like at this time period, when I went to college, bro, I'm like all over the place. I'm trying to be consistent,
you're good. You're good.
Anyways, at this time when we would fall out, I'm in college. I stayed home for college. I was a commuter.
Right.
But my folks,
TSU.
you know what I'm saying? Shout out TSU. But my folks, they were also home with me, but my brothers were not. So my folks, they were gone from church that Sunday service, but I was there. So I'm not even paying attention. He sneak dissing. Next Sunday, my dad's back. He's like, Lawan, why didn't you respond to my text?
It like he says that in front of everybody?
In front of everybody. Bro, my dad was like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
What?
So then he didn't have a response for real. So he was like, yeah, like you got to make sure you respond to my text. So then he tries to square it away after service, but you brought it up in front of everybody. So
Yeah.
my dad is a jokester, bro. But when he don't play, he
don't play.
He locks in.
Nah, your dad's hella cool.
He's mad cool, bro.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is like, the pastor tries to square things away. He's like, yeah, man, you just got to let me know. My dad was like, why? He's like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an overseer of the flock. Like, you're like one of my kids. He's like, you're not my dad, though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then he's like, well, you got this business, you know, you got employees. If they're not showing up to work, he's like, I don't work for you. Now, here's the thing, too. At this time, my parents owned a shake shop, Herbalife. So we had a spot in Brentwood, and it was very expensive. And the church was a big help. They gave us a lot of money to get that thing started. So then the pastor was like, yeah, but I gave you all this money.
Oh,
Anytime
so now
he
you're
would
trying
do
to hold it over your head.
Right. Anytime he would do something, bro, it was like holding it over the head. So long story short, that led to my parents going back and forth. My mom addressing the fact that, you know, you got to take better care of people's souls. You shouldn't be yelling at people. You shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And then also, my mom wanted to start a church at this time. So we're watching members get kicked out left and right because more people are starting to come out, find out like, oh, yeah, the youth pastor sleeping around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Maybe you yelling at people and putting their business on Front Street is a legitimate reason to leave, because this entire time when I'm going to this church, I would see people leave.
Yeah.
And I just like, they would tell us, oh yeah, they're not following God no more. They lost the anointing of God in their life because this church was like the church.
Yeah.
It was like the only way that you really like, you're the only real Christian for real.
Wow.
So it was like any other church was kind of inferior. He's the one that knows everything. So
yeah.
Now I'm starting to experience it for myself. Like, oh, you're not crazy. Then things started connecting. I started connecting. Like, I just remember, like, I got a little bro and a homegirl. They were both like my cousins, not family but family.
Yeah.
They started talking to each other when they were young. We weren't allowed to date growing up. Well, because they kept things in secrecy, it led to things happening that could have been prevented if you just had some oversight, some stewardship, or whatever.
Right.
Anyways, that ended up leading to the pastor like starting to have one-on-one discipleship meetings with the girl, because she was like being very rebellious. There was a lot of stuff that she was going through at the same time though, and so it ended up like just crazy situations happening where he was threatening to spank the girl. Now the girl was like, if he lays a hand on me, I'm gonna go to the police, because the pastor had another situation prior to that where, bro, when I tell you the Lord is crazy,
Nah, this is different.
he had laid hands on another girl.
Wow.
But that was because he was trying to protect her mom. So the girl was trying to like attack the mom. Pastor steps in, ends up blacking her eye. So then the court, they was like, yo, I see that you were trying to protect the mom. We'll actually let it go. She's just being a rebellious daughter. It's like, it wasn't intentional.
Okay.
That was crazy though.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And that even situation was crazy too, because it was like the girl and the mom that I'm telling you about, it was a single mom and her daughter. He took them under her wing. They both kind of called him dad, and she would stay with him for like a long time. Now, I'm not saying anything like PDF related happened. Like, he's genuinely like a man of God in that regard. But it was a situation where she basically was a PK.
Mm-hmm.
So she also was sleeping around. That was a big reason why they was getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And so once again, you putting everybody on Front Street, put your daughter, quote unquote, on Front Street.
Yep.
You're not doing that though.
Yeah.
Put your son on Front Street.
Don't want to do that.
Doing that though.
Right.
And so it was just like seeing a lot of stuff like that disconnected me from church. Mind you, the services are like 3 hours, 9 to 12:30.
Yep.
Every Sunday.
I know about that.
You know, and so when I'm in high school at this private school with people who don't take their faith seriously, and my mom was like, yeah, bring them over, invite them to church, let's get them saved. I don't want to take you to my church, gang.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to get exposed for something.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to get a hyper charismatic service. I don't know if we're going to go to one.
Yeah.
Like
9 to 1.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, all of these experiences had me disillusioned from church. I didn't really want to be associated with church, but I knew it was real.
Yeah.
Waging war within my soul.
Yeah.
Going to Christian school. Wanted to fit in with these guys, but knowing, like, once again, I'm not living how I'm supposed to be living at school. Waging war within my soul. I know my parents not going to be proud of me. I know my church not going to be proud of me.
Right.
I'm not wilding, but I'm definitely not doing everything I should be doing either.
Right.
And then I'm also mad because I'm like, I want to fit in with these people, and they're not inviting me because they know how I'm supposed to live. So my mom, she challenged me in high school. She was like, John, if they're going around arresting Christians, is there enough evidence in your life for you to be convicted? I said no. She had to explain to me the difference between a morally good person and a believer. And I knew I was just a morally good person because I wasn't really in my word.
Right.
When I get to college, that's kind of when I went on hard times. We get kicked out of church. COVID hits. I'm by myself a lot, bro. But before COVID hit, like my freshman year, I remember it was crazy. So I'm gaining my oar for the first time. I'm gaining self-confidence because being in a private school with like all black or all white students and you're a black kid, it's like you're not getting no women unless you're a 5-star athlete, 4-star athlete, right? So I finally started getting attention my senior year. That's boosting my ego.
Right.
Because even there, like, I didn't feel the most confident about myself, and I didn't realize that, bro. In the 4th grade, I will never forget this. I'm chilling in line, waiting to go home. Brown bus. There's a girl in the orange bus, 10 feet over. I will never forget this, bro. She's talking to her homegirl. And she's like, oh, what's your type? Da-da-da-da-da. Who would you date? She starts pointing around to different people. She goes, would you date him? Points at me. Minding my business, by the way. I'm probably thinking about Legos or something.
Yo.
She's talking about some, nah, I would never date this ugly.
Wow.
At that moment, y'all see how vividly I remember that? Like, sticks or stones, bro, that quote is so cap. I remember that to that day. That's where the seed of me being ugly got planted. And it gets reaffirmed in the spaces where I'm at, where it's like, oh, you don't date black people. Cool. Now I don't like how, like, bro, I'm telling you, it's just like fracturing my soul. I keep getting divided.
Yeah.
So by the time I go to college, I go to a HBCU, not realizing how handsome God has made me. And I don't say that in a cocky way. I just had to learn that, bro. I get shaved, bro.
No, yeah.
I started doing ROTC.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. What? You did RTC?
I did it for like a semester. So look, my parents sent me to a private school. I was always told by my dad that if you go to college, you got to pay for college.
Okay.
I said, all right, cool. So he was like, make sure you get good grades, make sure you perform well in sports. Once again, that pressure I talked about earlier. So I'm like, all right, cool. I was a great student, over 4.0 GPA, scored like a 26 on my ACT. I think a 27. I took it twice. I should have took more. I didn't know how serious I needed to take it. I thought I was gonna be like golden.
Right.
So all the schools that they recommended me, I'm getting scholarship money, but it wasn't a full ride. My older brother got a full ride. My twin brother, that's his whole story. I'm gonna let him touch on that. But he had a full ride. My parents didn't want him to go to where he was going in California, and they ended up telling him to go to somewhere in Ohio. And because he didn't get a full ride to where he was going in Ohio, he had to take out student loans. There was no money left for me.
Right.
So I'm like, dang. So the school that my dad always told me not to go to was TSU. So I'm looking at the school, never thinking about it as an option. Then I applied, hella late decision, probably like April.
April?
Some stupid late, bro.
That's crazy.
I applied late decision to TSU. And so I'm now at a school that I was always embarrassed to go to. And I'm like, let me get out of here. I need to get a scholarship ASAP. And then I was like, let me do RTC. And I was also a STEM major. I was an engineer. And I was like, if I become a STEM major, then I'll get a scholarship quicker. And so now I'm in this new environment, bro, where I'm stripped of my identity. I get my hair cut off. So now I'm super embarrassed. But I'm also stripped from my family, gang.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a commuter, but no one knows who my family was because I went to the same school for 8 years. It's like, oh, yeah, that's the Diggs boys.
Yeah.
I actually had 2 last names. More lore. My last name was Stockstill Diggs.
What?
We can touch on that too.
Bro, I had 2 last.
When I tell you, like, my identity was constantly in flux, bro.
Yeah.
Basically, to make a long story short,
That's crazy.
my pops was raised by my grandma. My grandma was a bitter baby mom, though. So she would always lie to my pops about my grandfather, saying, oh, he doesn't really care about you. He's not trying to pick you up. He's not trying to da-da-da-da-da. But my grandfather is actually a man of principle.
Okay.
My dad was his firstborn.
Okay.
When they went to court, and they were talking about how the last name was going to go, my grandma wanted him to have the last name Stockstill because her other sons had the last name Stockstill.
Okay.
My granddad was like, nah, I want him to have the last name Diggs. The judge was like, we'll just combine them.
Wow.
And so for a long time, my dad didn't know that my grandfather actually wanted a relationship with him up until he was like in his 30s or 40s.
That's crazy.
So when my dad found that out, he's like, yo, we'll drop the name.
Yeah.
So when I'm in college, I'm going to introduce myself. Oh, my name's not Stock Still Diggs no more. I'm going to introduce my brothers. Oh, wait, it doesn't matter. My brothers aren't here.
Mm-hmm.
Who's John for the first time?
Mm.
And I'm a commuter. So now I don't have any community to lean on. I don't have friends to go back to. And so I spend a lot of time at home. I'll come home every day depressed. My mom and dad would be like, you make any friends today? Nope.
Wow.
I'm going straight to class and going home, bro. Like, what do I look like hanging out in the commons area?
And to the people that know John, hearing that is insane.
It's very crazy.
That's crazy.
It's really a blessing, like, how many friends I have now. So at this time of my life, I'm, like, stupid isolated. From college, I probably made, like, 10 friends total.
Okay.
And I'm still cool with, like, 3 of them, 4 of them, maybe.
Shout out to them.
Shout out them. Because it's so crazy how college works, right? So freshman year, first semester, I'm shaved doing ROTC. I'm in all these classes. I'm trying to do as many extracurriculars as I can. COVID hits. All HBCUs shut down for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, you could be
Wow.
on campus, but the first year for sure, nobody was on campus. Everybody's online. So the year that you're trying to make most of your friends, especially in your major, bro, cut. And I major switched going into my second semester.
Yeah.
So all the friends I made in my first semester with all this orientation stuff, now I don't have them no more.
Yeah.
So I just remember, like, reading the word. I don't know when, but God definitely encountered me. And the Holy Spirit came alive to me, and scripture started making sense. Like, I used to force myself to read the Bible, didn't care. But now when I read my Bible, it's like, oh, this is actually making sense. And I didn't realize how much scripture, like, stuck. Oh, during this time, too, in high school, 2019, TikTok was, like, still a little taboo. So I thought it was corny. But I was like, you know what? Let me get on this. So I started grinding on TikTok. I had an account that hit, like, 80,000 talking about music.
Talking about music? Just talking about music?
So what I would used to do is, like, I would talk about rap songs that would have cool lyrics for Instagram captions. And it would blow up.
That's interesting.
So
that's really niche. That's
very
hard.
niche, right? And my mom found the account. That's what led to the conversation about, are you really a Christian? Because she's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, the content doesn't glorify God. My soul is vexed as I'm making this content too, because it's like, I want to be famous. I want to have this platform, but it's not making content that I wanted to make.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. Like, that's a good way out for me. And so, didn't have no friends in college. Went to FCA. FCA gave me a community. I'm preaching the gospel to a bunch of students, and they're like, oh, yeah, the way that you dress, fly, the way that you make sense. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me start preaching the gospel on TikTok. I feel like God led me to do that. And so that's how I started my St. John career or whatever. And this is what really led to me getting locked in. I'm a combative person. I'm not going to lie. I get a little, but it's not because I like to be argumentative. I just really, like, care for truth. And so I started making content, not realizing that there's people that believe different things than I do.
Right.
Because my whole life is shaped by this one church where it's like, we're the one church.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, yeah, like, of course the Bible says go to church. That's not a verse. That's not a verse. Now I got to learn how to articulate why you should go to church without relying on what I thought was biblical.
Right.
Okay, why don't I believe that baptism is required for salvation? People believe that?
People do.
Didn't know. There was so much I learned through this TikTok journey of, like, encountering other believers, and I really sharpened my sword. So that also pushed me to being in my word more, because, like, I want to learn truth. I want to know, like, you know what I'm saying, what I believe. So, like, college was very formulative to me, trying to understand what I believe. This whole time, though, I'm struggling, like, with this whole lust thing. Like, it's like BTA sometimes. Sometimes I'm winning.
Right.
And so, once again, like, with my idol, former idol, youth pastor, like, shattering, I'm like, okay, like, I don't know what I'm really going to do. So I have to grit my teeth and be like, okay, this is what I want to live, because this is the right way to live. This is what God's called me to live.
Right.
But once again, it's like, in my mind, the line is sex. For so long, my purity had been corroded. Like, I knew porn was wrong, and I'm trying to fight it, but it's like, okay, I've been struggling with this for a long time. But as long as I don't have sex, it's cool.
Right.
So in college, that's the first time I started experiencing, like, feelings towards people. I can make this decision. I caught feelings for a girl that wasn't really saved for real. She said she was Catholic, but whatever. Bro, that's a story time. So how much time we got, gang? Like,
we got time. We about 40 minutes in, so we good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, I remember COVID sophomore year. I think I told you the story already. I had caught feelings for a girl. And it was just so funny, bro. Like, going to an HBCU is so crazy because they don't have the infrastructure that they need.
At
So
all.
they just be unorganized. So when I major switched, I switched into design. Now I asked them at the office, I said, yo, I want to do graphic design. They said, cool, just put design on the paper. I said, are you sure? They said, yes. I said, are there any other design programs? They said, nah, graphic design is the only one. Cool. I get put in interior design classes, gang.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So I took interior design classes over COVID. I get put in the Zoom breakout class because we were on Zoom, right? I get put in a breakout with this one girl. She was actually mad cool. I'm like, oh, snap. I asked her where she from. She like 40 minutes from me. I'm like, word.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk to her for the rest of the semester.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. Following semester, I'm still in interior design classes. Me and her get put in the same class. And then we started having conversations. So anyways, this is the first time like I have a car. I have freedom. And I can actually talk to somebody that like likes me.
Right.
So nothing happens the first time I really talked to her. I just like was leading her on, like Lust is like in the conversation, but I didn't do anything with her. Well, when it came to it, like I would always get at this point where it's like I would let Lust go so far, then my convictions would kick in, let me lock in.
Yeah.
And when stuff started becoming real, she started like wanted to hang out. One time she waited on me to kiss her. I'm like, I can't kiss her, gang. Like that's really gonna seal the deal. So I was like, let me call it quits. I let that go. Junior year, I ended up falling for a girl, once again Catholic, but ain't really like locked in with God.
Right.
So then had to let that go. But the way that even that situation got exposed, bro, I remember all week, the week that I let her go, all week I'm cutting people off. I feel like God's telling me lock in. I'm like, cool. Friday night we have a worship night at my crib. My mom, she prays for me. She's like, John, the Lord said you got to let people go. You got to cut some people off. I said, cool. I've been doing that all week. Guess who name pop up though? I'm crushing on. I'm
Right.
like, maybe I'm overthinking it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now you overthink.
And now I'm overthinking it, right? Now the thing is, I've been attracted to people that have an avoidant attachment style. So this girl, she would string me along because it's like, you always on your phone whenever we hang out, but whenever I text you, it takes you 8 hours to respond.
Type.
Interesting. All right, cool, whatever. So the night after the worship, or the night of the worship night, ends at like 10. I start texting her. She starts texting me. We text till like 3 a.m. gang. Never had this much of her attention, so I'm thriving. She's like, yo, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, let's hang out.
Flow state.
Mind you, we're supposed to hang out the following week already because I was going to go to a car meet. So she was like, we can hang out too. I said, cool. I fall asleep. Wake up, 10 a.m. My bro from Colorado texted me.
Colorado.
Has a dream about this whole entire situation. Mind you, I've told no one about this girl. And he's like, yo, this is going on. You know what I'm saying? Her mom was in the dream, and it was crazy because every time we would hang out, she would always FaceTime her mom to let her know who she was with.
Okay.
So I'm like, damn, bro, I gotta let this girl go too. She was like, yeah, it was a warning. You gotta get away from her. So I'm like,
wow.
Ended it.
Shout out to him.
Shout out him, bro. Bro, I folded a week later though. She texted me. She's like, yo, how you been? I said, bro, I miss you. I was sick. But I was in denial because I was like denying how I feel. Because I'm like, once again, I know I'm not supposed to be with you because you're not a believer. So
right.
Like, I'm not even going, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even
going.
So I'm just hanging out with her, telling her that like she's my friend, but I really like her the whole time. So anyways, that was a whole arc within itself. Anyways, she was on games that entire summer, so I ended it. Senior year, I'm thinking I'm golden. Tell me why both of them are in my class.
Woo!
One's in a Zoom class that is a group project where I have to communicate with her so I don't fail my class. The other one is a senior project class.
Woo!
So anyways, we'll fast forward ahead. But like to make a long story short, college was like the first time where I ever experienced like indulging in activity I wasn't supposed to. Feel me? But I'm like, I'm not having sex. I'm good. Then I'm understanding like, oh, this is why it's a sin against the body. Because now every time I'm hanging out with this girl from my sophomore year, we like do stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to do this.
Right.
Bro, I thought I was going to be like Captain Save a, I'm not going to say a hoe because she wasn't a hoe, but I'm thinking I'm going to be like Captain Save a girl. Like I'm going to be righteous, bro. Because, bro, it's crazy. The girl that's from my sophomore year in my senior class, senior art exhibition, we have that class together. We do a senior art exhibition together. And because my folks are in town, they come visit. My mom falls in love with this girl. She's like, oh, she's dope. Invite her to Bible study. Now I got to explain different, like, I'm thinking like, oh, the complexities here. I don't know if I go there. So, anyway, she starts coming to Bible study too. Then we start hanging out. We rekindled our friendship. And then she's like, oh, let's go to the movies. I'm like, cool. Bro, if you ever feel from the Holy Spirit not to do something, listen. At the movies, we're hanging out. She's like, oh, do you want to hang out in my car after? I'm like, sure. ISO.
Lord.
Called it. Kobe. We don't do no ISOs, bro. Mind you, I'm knowing she's not really locked in with God. So, anyways, hang out in the car, ended up making out or whatever. So that kind of kickstarted that journey. And so with that, like, we ended up falling out, and a big part of it was because how I navigated as a believer. Because I'm telling her like, oh yeah, we gotta stop doing this. I'm feeling very convicted, and then I'd be the one initiating.
Right.
Because I couldn't control myself.
Right.
I didn't know though. And so like, because I experienced all of this on my own, and no one was really honest. Like a lot of people just told me to avoid things, but I didn't get the why behind it so much.
Right.
Like, I'm like, bro, like, damn, bro, like, I just ruined this girl. Like, I don't know if, to this day, I don't know if she's a believer because of me. Like, I feel like I really impacted her view of Christianity. And that's something I got to wrestle with. That's God, really.
Yeah.
So I can't really blame myself, but that's just something that, like, eats at me.
Yeah.
And it's something that really encourages me to be locked in on my P's and Q's as a believer. So, anyways, all of this time, like, I'm navigating having a Christian platform, bro. Like, I'm struggling with lust. It's kicking my butt. I'm getting belt to A. And God still works. He still moves. And so through that, like, now we got to talk about how God was, like, just showing me, like, this whole time it's a progress of, like, just understanding sanctification, bro.
It's a process.
God had to help me accept that I actually wanted to be a believer. Everything that I experienced wasn't wrong. It just wasn't tied to emotionalism.
Yeah.
Like, I can have genuine faith without feeling it. I didn't have community. God gave me community through ENC.
Shout out to ENC.
Saying? I'm realizing the importance of not just abstaining from sex, but walking in purity.
Yeah.
And now it encourages me. It helps me because it's like, bro, like the stuff that God warns us to stay against, it rots your brain, not just your soul. Like, bro, it changes your perception on people. It changes how you view the world. Like, it impacts your creativity. So, anyways, after I graduated college, I was looking for a job and I went on a mission trip, bro. This is the first time I ever seen God ever move in my life, for real, like for me. So
It be the mission trips.
Bro, it be the mission trips. So look, let me tell you how this happened. I'm applying to this job, like 100,000 applicants. I make it to the top 6.
100,000.
It was a lot. It was like a social media joint.
That's crazy.
So I'll make it to the top 6. Now, a lot of my life was learning about myself. My communication style is super blunt, like naturally. So like I email the people, I'm like, yo, y'all ain't really like letting me know what's going on. Like, what's up? So I showed my homegirl who works in HR that email. She's like, John, you probably ruined your chances because there was 4 people that could make it.
Okay.
So I made it to the top 6. Anyways, that joint's hilarious. In this time, she was like, okay, let me backtrack a little bit because this happened at the end of the mission trip, which let me know the direction I was supposed to go. So I was in between this job, and then I found out about the mission trip. So I'm thinking God's going to speak to me about my next steps because I had just graduated college. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I spoke at TSU one time, and shout out to Erica Fouché. She works with Every Nation. And she was like, oh, yeah, John, you did phenomenal. You should come to this mission trip to South Africa. I said, bet. So I was talking to my mom about it. I'm like, cool, I want to go to South Africa. She's like, you know, you got to raise $3,000, right? I said, huh? She said, yeah, they're not paying for that.
Yeah.
I was like, but she asked me. I'm a first round draft pick. What are we talking about?
They better pay for me.
They better pay for me.
Pick me first.
So then my mom was like, listen, you got to raise funds. Pray about it, though.
Yeah.
She's like, don't say no because it's too expensive. Because I was like, nah, I'm not going to go. She's like, pray. And if the Lord tells you to go, then go.
Yeah.
I prayed about it. Didn't feel anything about like not going. I felt like the Lord was leading me to go. I was like, all right, cool. Ended up raising the money in like a week, bro.
All 3K?
All 3K. So I reached out to a boss of mine that I was working part-time with. He was like, yeah, here's $1,000. That's pretty much the entire thing that I needed for the mission trip. The flight was the most expensive part. Following week, I go to a retirement ceremony, and one of my best friends in high school had passed away while I was in college. Ran into his parents. We caught up. They're like, oh, yeah, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm going to South Africa. They're like, oh, da-da-da-da-da, do you need money or whatever? I'm like, yeah, like I got to pay for this flight. It's like $2,000. Bro gave me his credit card.
Wow.
Didn't even ask me. He was like, bro, yeah, like just put it in. Let me know when you, boom, took care of that.
Look at God, bro.
Right. So then I try to get on my flight or whatever. I'm with 3 of my friends. Well, no, it's 2 of my friends. It's me, Tavia, and Kashira. We go to the Nashville airport. We're on time. Big old storm hits. Messes up our connecting flight to Atlanta. I'm talking about like 4-hour storm, so we can get to Atlanta. We touched down to Atlanta at like 12 a.m. They had to put us in a jank hotel, so we missed our connecting flight to South Africa as a result. So they make us take a connecting flight to France. 12-hour layover in France. Then we take another 6-hour flight to South Africa.
Wow.
So it's a lot of spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
Now, as a result of this, I missed like the first day or maybe the second day too. First day of the mission trip, and they laid out some important groundwork. South Africa faces a lot of racism still because of apartheid.
Yep.
And so they were like, yo, you're American. Don't touch on this. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Didn't know about that though.
Yeah.
Right? So when I touch down in South Africa, I'm exhausted. It's like 9 a.m. though, so I got to stay up all day. They're like, John, we're going to go to a camp. There's going to be white and black students there. Make sure that you like engage. Be careful with the tension there, because there's like 6 national languages in South Africa, and a big one is Afrikaans. And black students don't speak Afrikaans. Black kids don't speak Afrikaans typically, and so like that's another way to like create a barrier. And so they're like, John, you're speaking as well. So I was going over my sermon points with my mom. I'm talking about my struggles with lust or whatever. She's like, John, these kids probably don't even have phones.
Wow.
It's not culturally relevant. I'm like, dang, what do I talk about? So, first day I get to camp, they're like, yeah, John, we're going to have a prayer watch. You have 3 a.m. I said, excuse me?
3 a.m.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're going to have people praying all night, throughout the night. You get an hour. I said, all right, cool. Mind you, it's summertime here, but in South Africa, it's winter, so it's freezing. So, we went to bed at like 11:30, 12. I only had like 3 hours of sleep. I fall asleep, wake up. And I just remember praying and just praying in the spirit. Beautiful stars, no light pollution. Like, I'm seeing stars in ways you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking God's gonna speak to me like a divine revelation, an angel or something gonna come, bro. That did not happen. I'm not gonna lie, that did not happen at all. I'm just knowing God gonna speak to me, boy, gonna honor all my sacrifice. Didn't happen. Anyways, I fall asleep, wake up at like 5. It was a 5:30 a.m. wake up call, so that's another thing. I was just like, bro, I'm not gonna sleep for real, and I'm tired. Well, 5:30 comes around, we have the devotion, and I just get a download from God about what I was supposed to speak on. Everything that I experienced growing up, the differences in church and culture and white, black spaces, like it just came together in that moment. That was the first time I felt like God gluing everything to make sense.
That's good.
And I shared a sermon, and I was like, yo, you can't call yourself a believer, because South Africa is like America where everybody's nominally Christian. I was like, you can't call yourself a Christian and not love your brother.
That's
black
good.
spaces, white spaces, whatever.
That's good. Yeah.
So I hit the nail on the head. Like, God really spoke to me. Holy Spirit, just like flow state. And so after that, I had to leave the camp. But they told me the following day, like, the camp was different. Kids that weren't interacting with each other were interacting with each other.
That's good.
And I'm like, wow. Towards the end of that mission trip, operated in the prophetic for the first time. I said, wow. And it was so scary, bro. It's so scary sometimes. So you just gotta have safe environments to practice. But I was like, yo, talking to one of my bros, I don't think you're supposed to be in this major. Like, I feel like God is saying something about politics. He's like, thank you. Following day, he tells me, he's like, yeah, man, I've actually been considering switching my major to politics. I was like, bro, what?
Yeah.
Joey is crazy. He's like, yeah, that was the confirmation that I needed.
That's crazy.
So when I go home, I find out about the job of Every Nation. I also find out I don't get the job that I was applying to. And so that was just like open the door. And so for the past 2 years, 2.5, or 2 years, 3 months probably, I've been at Every Nation. God's really been growing me. In this time period, I actually started seeing what God is describing for the life of a believer, which is discipleship. I started getting discipled. And then I also take Leadership 215, which is a ministry course that Every Nation offers. And so started growing theologically. And so a lot of times, like, what people see of me as a believer now is just merely a reflection of all of my experiences. This is why I talk about fashion. This is why I talk about culture. Because, like, in college, I didn't have no money for clothes.
Right.
So, like, my boys that I became friends with, the 3 of my friends, they put me on to fashion. And I'm like, why don't we have this in the Christian space?
That's good.
Right? When I found out about secular music, I was in high school. I wasn't allowed to listen to no secular growing up. I remember, I'll never forget this, 2016, standing in the locker room, heard Lil Uzi Enemies for the first time. I was like, bro, what is this? Who?
Yo, shout out to Uzi, man.
Shout out Uzi, bro. And so, like, I was like, bro, people can rap like this? There's beats like this? Like, my love for music, like, even though I was split in my loyalty to Christ,
right, that
introduced me to secular music, now I have an ear for what sounds good.
Right.
So God used so many different parts of my testimony. It's like, okay, I didn't grow up in a charismatic space that I resonated with. So now I can tell those believers, hey, your faith is not invalid just because you don't feel what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or you don't.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the Holy Spirit doesn't move through you the same way. Like, God speaks to me heavily through Scripture.
That's good.
It makes sense to me. I'm not hearing audible voices, but if you look at TikTok, it's like, oh yeah, God spoke to me, said X, Y, and Z. You're going to feel like, dang, like, God, you don't love me. For a long time, I felt like God did not like me.
Wow.
Because I'm like, bro, you talk to my mom so clearly, you talk to my brother so clearly, like, why not me? You talk to my grandma, why not me?
Yeah.
Not realizing God is speaking to me the whole time. And so, like, all of my experiences that caused me to be disillusioned from the faith allows me to zoom out and look at things critically and like, okay, what does Scripture actually say about this? Okay, culture, cool, like, why are we seeing different responses with the passing of Charlie Kirk versus Alex Freddie? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and I don't even mean to get political. But
Nah,
I'm
it's
like,
just
bro, as a believer, like you over here glorifying this one man, but at the loss of this man, no one's talking about it. But
Right.
this is impacting your brothers and sisters in Christ.
right,
Why are we not speaking on this? Where's the love for the brother and sister here?
right,
And so, yeah, just like being fractured, but also always just being a creative. Like from a kid, I always loved drawing and art and stuff like that, and that kind of led to my choice to becoming a graphic design major. Because I was talking to my mom, I'm like, STEM, I don't like, and she was like, pray about it. Where's God leading you? Felt like He was leading me to graphic design. I was like, cool.
boom,
And so like even that was like a Swiss Army knife because I knew I wanted to make content. I knew
Yeah.
that I wanted to have a clothing brand, and so now I can be self-sufficient in these spaces. And it's like God is flowing through me in my gifting. So it's like, okay, what does my purpose look like?
yeah,
Well, your purpose is to know God and make Him known, but how you do that might look different in every season. So now I can tell people, hey, you don't have to have everything figured out right now.
right,
Are you being a disciple? Are you discipling others?
it's good,
Cool. What are you good at? Do that. That's
Yeah.
all you need to live a Christian lifestyle. You don't need a divine revelation from God about you supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z in this specific season. Like it's liberating.
yeah,
And so my goal really with my content is like be the person, the believer that you didn't have growing up, who's relatable, who can talk about some of his shortcomings, not in a way to glorify sin, to be like, oh yeah, like this was a learning moment and this
Yeah.
is why.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of my whole testimony. Is like God really just glued all of these fractured parts together to give me an identity that's like, okay, Christ can be seen through me.
right. Woo! W testimony.
You know?
And so now, cause I got some questions, like kind of just touching on the individual parts you talked about. Piggybacking off of, you were kind of just talking about your content,
Mm-hmm.
and like, what were some of the hardest parts about making content and growing the platform? Because you have the followers now, like you got like over 100K like on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Over 20K on Instagram. Like you got the followers. Was there pride that came with that? Like what was the struggles with as you saw that platform going to grow and as you saw God working through your life and you figuring out your faith?
Okay. Yeah, it's super interesting. So I'm at like 146 on Instagram, or not Instagram, TikTok. And Instagram I'm at 13, not 20.
Oh my.
I only say that just because it's like somebody gonna like. Oh,
No,
he's at
I don't know. I thought I was
Nah,
at
you
20.
good,
My
you
bad.
good. Like John's not at 20. But with that, I think it's understanding like there's a lot of pressure, bro,
Yeah.
to be perfect,
Yeah.
and it creates a lack of authenticity with content. And your walk with Christ is going to be very integral if you're making Christian products, if you're making Christian content. And so with me struggling with lust all throughout my social media career, if I'm good with lust, like I'm beating it, cool. I'm pumping out videos. If I'm not, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Mm.
Then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, but I'm monetized now.
Yeah.
Let me let me start putting out videos even if I'm still struggling.
Wow.
Let me start putting out videos even if I'm not in my word.
Yeah.
The problem with being highly gifted is like your gifting does not outlast your character, but it can last a long time.
Yeah.
And this is why you'll see so many people go for so long and then have like a public downfall. They'll fall. And so there was a pressure to like produce content and live a life that I wasn't living.
Yeah.
There's also like, yeah, there's ego, there's pride that can come with it. But I think that like, because I've struggled more so with my self-confidence,
Yeah.
just as a result of not feeling accepted anywhere, like
Yeah.
I don't really care about my platform. Like, yeah, I got this following. I'm just grateful people engage with what I do.
Yeah.
Like the number is something that God has to challenge me with, where it's like, bro, 146,000 people is a lot of people.
It is.
And I oftentimes forget how known I am. Like, I feel like God has done this thing. Like, my whole life, this is why I also knew I couldn't really run away from God. God will always bring me back. I'm mad at God because he's not speaking to me, but it's like he's protecting me from so much.
Yeah.
And so people outside of my circle, they be like, you know St. John? In my circle, it's like, that's Jonathan Diggs. That's
Yeah.
John. And so I think God's really shielded me from pride and ego because truthfully, I feel like whatever God gifts you with, you're just going to wrestle with. Like there's going to be a fleshly aspect because growing up, I wanted to be a content creator. I wanted to be famous. And so rather than shy away from the fact that I still have these desires to be known, it's like, okay, let me make God known. Let me make sure I keep this in check.
There you go.
Because what the enemy will do is be like, yeah, man, like you want to be known? Take
Yeah.
the humble route.
Yeah.
Stop posting. Now I'm blocking somebody else from growing.
Yeah.
Because I'm so scared of following. So my mentor, he told me, he was like, John, don't run away from sin. Run towards righteousness.
Mm.
And if you fall, You fell in the right direction. And so
fall forward.
Fall forward. So for me, like, yeah, like content creation has been a battle, but I think God's really used it to sanctify me. And then also, like I said, like content helped me dive down and really get into like what I believe. But also just being a Christian content creator is the hardest content creator you can be.
Yeah.
Because, like, you have all the struggles of being a regular content creator.
Right.
Then you add faith. You make one video somebody doesn't agree with. Now you're leading people to hell. Slow down.
And now you have to theologically debate this person.
You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
For real.
And I get it. There's a lot of issues that could be argued that are salvific in nature. But bro, the Christian audience is unbearable. Some people are too serious.
Yeah.
Some people are not serious enough.
Nah, for sure.
It's just weird, bro. So it's like
It's that weird dance. Yeah.
it is a dance. And so I would always tell people like, yeah, man, like being a Christian content creator is hard. It's not for the weak. And it's the Wild West because there is no criteria for a Christian content creator. And that leads to somebody who just got saved, who's on fire for the Lord, 6 months in, loves reading the word. Let me start talking X, Y, and Z. But it's like you don't even know what you're talking about. There's so many people who are content creators who don't practice ministry. Because it's like, okay, you wouldn't say that if you actually discipled people. You don't know what you're talking about for real. This is good theoretically, not in practice. And then you also got people who are just overly zealous. And so it's like there's a wild, wild west where it's like you become a pastor in these people's eyes.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit told me, he was like, people are highly media literate, but very biblically illiterate.
That's good.
So now I know how to put a crafty hook together talking about the Bible.
Yeah.
But the video is poo.
Yeah.
But because I said it well.
Yeah.
Eat it up. That sounds great. Share it to my friends.
Tight. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I would say with content.
That's crazy. Because I think we've talked about this before with you saying that creating Christian content is the hardest content you can create because there's all the struggles of regular content creating and you have faith, and it's also you don't want to be inauthentic with the video.
Right.
You don't want to be inauthentic. Oh, I'm just doing this because I'm monetized, like you said, because I know this is going to blow up, or because, like this is a hot topic and I just want to touch this so I can get these views or whatever. Like, there's that side of it too. When it comes to like the block of that creatives get, how is that impacted, your creative content space?
Bro, it's just crazy because I touched on my testimony, but I didn't touch on a lot of what happened in 2025. I think 2025 was one of the most formulative years for my faith because I was like wanting to deconstruct. And I say that not because I wanted to abandon God, but it was like the things I experienced from other Christians was like, I don't want to be associated with y'all. What is wrong with y'all? So
Set
when
apart.
it comes to this creative block, I was also struggling because I'm like, bro, I want to reach the lost.
Yeah.
My gifting is very much so for the church, a lot of what I do. And that was a struggle for me. It was a tension because I'm like, bro, I feel like the content that we're making, the content that I've made, the platform that I have doesn't reach the lost. And I have to become okay with that. If I was to start over, I would do things very differently. But ultimately, I had to know what my calling was. And so a lot of times, a lot of Christians aren't necessarily confident in the content that they're trying to make, the gifting that they have. I remember fasting in 2025. And I remember the Lord like putting on my heart, advanced kingdom culture. I wrote that down in my journal. I still got that mug. I was like, all right, cool. What does that look like? Didn't understand it. And so I would pray about it. Then I kind of just like fell off on that. Now, fast forward to 2026, after prayer and fasting, like I got a lot of spiritual momentum, but I didn't feel like God spoke to me. Then things just started piecing together. So my mom, she found a whiteboard off Amazon. It's like God's sovereignty is just so timely. She got a whiteboard off Amazon. Now, anybody who's following my TikTok content right now, y'all know that whiteboard stays in my room. And so God was able to tie my gift for teaching in with this whiteboard, which was like a sticky point. So like when it comes to content creation, if you want to build a following, you want a repeatable pattern. And so because people see this whiteboard in all of my videos, they're like, oh, like this is John. He's the guy with the whiteboard who's able to teach. And then I'm also able to talk about whatever I want because y'all know, like I be yapping. I can talk about whatever I want. And so that allowed me to reach a creative flow state. So we're like, okay, cool. Advanced kingdom culture. I don't care about just teaching people about the Bible no more. Yeah. Because I didn't want to be seen as a pastor. Right. But I still have this love for theology. Right. I still have this love for culture. How can I bridge the two? So now it's like, okay, cool. If I want to talk about music, let me get this whiteboard. Let me actually explain, because there's so much that God has allowed me to experience where I see the behind the scenes of stuff that people never see.
Right.
Right. Like me and Noah, we know a lot of BTS about the Christian rap space that people just don't touch on. So it's like, okay, let's shed light to this. Why does Christian rap suck? It's because there's a very real issue with the skill.
Yeah.
There's a very real issue with the way that people make money. You combine these two, you get an environment where it's like, okay, yeah, you have, bro, it's so deep. There are Christian rappers who will tell you not to listen to the people that inspire them. You don't listen to secular music, but you sound just like Migos.
Yeah.
Granted, rapping in triplets is like anybody can do that. But come on now.
No,
But it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, let's really touch on that. So God was really able to show me how to overcome this content block that I've experienced for like the last 2 or 3 years, because one, now I'm locked in with my faith. Now I'm taking this journey of purity more seriously than I ever have before. And then also, like, he helped me bridge the gaps with my giftings. And so for me, overcoming that content block was really just like God's timing for real, his sovereignty.
Yeah.
A lot of prayer. So
Did the content ever become an idol? Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Talk about that.
I think that, like, there's so much to it, bro, because, like, as a single young man, once again, struggle with my identity, struggle with people finding me attractive. I get on social media. I go to an HBCU. Now I'm surrounded by people who find me attractive.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, cool. Let me post this video where I'm talking about God, but I look handsome in it. Granted, y'all know me. If anybody who knows me knows I hate Christian thirst traps. But it's like, I got to wrestle with this internal desire to want to be validated.
Yeah.
And there was a season of time before I made my Christian content where I had content where it was like, it wasn't thirst trappy, but I'm like definitely trying to make content because I know women are following me from that. I had 2 accounts, bro. I had one that had 80K. I had one that hit 12K. But the one that hit 12K had like more exposure because it was like getting a lot of reposts. I was just posting relatable stuff.
Okay.
So I got like so many women that had followed me from that account where I'm now like, oh, snap, like, it was an idol with that because I'm looking for validation.
Right.
God had to show me how to like start validating myself apart from people.
Yeah.
Christian content, once again, wanted to be looked at as somebody who's an authority or a figure in the space. So now I'm posting content where it's like I got to be teaching it every day.
Yeah.
I got to drop this content every day. And bro, like, there's a discipline and consistency that comes with content. And so I know I have to post every day, but I'm not in my word every day. Dang, that's backwards.
Bro. Talk. Woo! We got to go there for a second because one of the things that my pastor told me that is so it was so formative for me. He was like, notice the things that you do every day. Do you eat? You drink. You may go work out. You may the things that are systematically in your life every day. But why isn't prayer?
Come on.
Why isn't devotion? You know what I'm saying? Why isn't it worship? Things like that. And it's like, that's how we get spiritually fed. Because we're feeding our flesh, but we're not feeding the spirit daily. And that, bro, that's huge. That is so huge.
Bro,
yeah.
I'm telling you. And then also, if I'm in my word, am I in my word because I want to make content?
Yeah.
Am I in my word because I'm trying to be filled up?
Yeah.
So it was like, even
when
I got in the word, my motives were off and I wasn't really receiving for the right reasons. And so I remember last year, 2025, I'm struggling with creativity. And I'm like, bro, I keep hitting all these creative blocks. A big reason was I was like, what are things that are blocking me from creativity? Like, what is creativity in its purest form? And what are things that are blocking me from reaching it?
Yeah.
That's going to be different for each person.
Right.
For me, creativity in its purest form is understanding who God is, a creator. The first thing that the Bible tells you about him is he's a creator. The first person to receive the Holy Spirit was somebody who received the Holy Spirit to create. Exodus talks about that. And so I'm like, okay, Christian content is falling behind. What is that a reflection of? Our relationship with the Father. Let me lock in with my relationship with God then. Let me see what it talks about with creativity. And so as I continue to lock in there, I'm like, all right, what are other things that are blocking me? Okay, I have this desire to reach the world, but I have this platform that's for believers. Okay, well, let go of this desire to reach the world. That'll be okay.
Yeah.
If that's the Lord's will, he will show me what to do. He'll show me what to make. Okay, cool. Let that desire go. I have a desire to make money off of my content. But now I'm making my videos in a way to be monetized because there's certain standards, certain restrictions.
Right.
A video that only needed to be 30 seconds is now a minute.
I remember we talked about that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, let me free myself from this mindset of like, oh, all of my videos need to be monetized. So let me take myself out the creator program.
Yeah.
None of my videos are monetized right now. And I'm getting consistently more views that would bring in money now that I'm out. Why? Because money's not a focus. Could I put myself back in the program? Sure. But like, it's not a focus for me right now. I have everything that I need. I'm content. And so when I started removing these creative blocks, like chasing after the money, chasing after virality, just sticking to content I'm passionate about.
There you go. Yeah.
Then that's when it allowed me to
That's good.
flow freely. I'm
Yeah.
in a flow state. I have so much content I could produce. The only thing that's blocking me now is time.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage people, like, think about the things that are potentially blocking you. Think about the things that you're passionate about and seeing how you can bridge that gap. So for me, it was letting go of some things that I desired. Letting go of some things I desire for real.
Yeah. Speaking of time, that's something that like I'm currently struggling with, because with now starting the pod and then like continuously doing music, and trying to interweave that in my daily walk with Christ, friends, work, all the working out, everything, right? Like, how have you? Can you speak to me, speak to the people, like kind of like share some advice on how you've had to schedule your time, process your time in a way that you're still productive, but you're still not neglecting the other things that are in your life that are important.
Yeah, that's real. Back to just the letting go of things. Content creation requires sacrifice.
Yeah.
And this is something I'm still struggling with right now. I'm not perfect in this. So I have a clothing brand, and I don't talk about my brand enough, and I don't put in the effort and energy that I have with my personal brand. And that's just simply because I haven't made up in my mind the sacrifices I'm going to make.
Yeah.
So, for example, this year, I was like, let me start off the year reading the New Testament. That means I got to read 10 chapters every day. You can get through the New Testament in about 26 days. So 5 in the morning, 5 at night. Because I had this goal, I was like, okay, I know at 10 p.m. I got to be in my word. I know that I got to be up by this time. That helped me be consistently in my word.
That's
to
good.
Finish the challenge. Crushed it, right?
That's
So
good.
like, okay, cool. These are certain routines that I have to sacrifice for. Same thing with content creation. It was like, okay, I know I have a window here. I can't do anything else right now, or content's not going to be put out.
That's good.
There's certain sacrifices that you just have to make. I can't hang out with the homies all the time because I got to make content. I told Noah before, I was like, before we pulled up, I said, yo, I'm going to pull up at this time, but I got to make a video beforehand.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I know that if I have windows of opportunity, I have to capitalize on them. So being very aware of your time and the sacrifices that you need to make so that you can honor that time commitment is like the biggest thing.
That's good.
And so a lot of people just haven't made up in their mind that they truly want to pursue content because they realize they haven't made the sacrifices that they need to make to do that.
Yeah.
And like this kind of is a reflection on how they view themselves, the goals that they have that they set. The Lord had to show me I don't view myself the way that he views me because I'm not taking myself seriously.
Wow.
I'm making sacrifices for other people doing things I don't care to do because I care about how they view me.
That's good.
But I'm not willing to sacrifice for myself for the things that I know would actually be beneficial to what God's called me to do or to be beneficial to my future.
That's good.
So I was like, all right, cool. Like, for example, gym. I've been working out. My body's getting a little banged up now because I'm getting older, but also it's like there's some deficiencies. Like my knees are not that great. And I was looking at my bank account. I'm not broke, but at the same time, there's just some purchases I didn't want to make.
Right.
But I'm like, dang, bro, I just spent money going out to eat with so-and-so. I just did X, Y, and Z for this. But I don't take myself seriously enough to like buy things that'll help me in the gym. Okay, cool. Let me lock in on that. Let me actually take care of myself. Let me make that sacrifice because I said that I'm going to take this gym stuff seriously. And so there's just some uncomfortable sacrifices that you have to make that stem from how you view yourself. Do you think that you are worth the sacrifice?
That's good. Do you think that you are worth the sacrifice? That's crazy. Speaking about your brand, Senator Saint, what was I think we've talked about it briefly, but what was the kind of the motive or the inkling you got from God to start that? Kind of where you at with it now? Is there anything that you want to talk about, like to let the people know that you got going on? Kind of how did that start?
It's so funny, bro. My name is Saint John on TikTok and Instagram. A lot of people are like, Svent? No, it's supposed to be an A. The name was taken, just in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, it's was it SVINT dot?
Yeah. So when I was like in this journey of like coming to understand what I believe, I went on this long arc of like, oh yeah, we're not sinners, we're saints. We're not sinners, we're saints. And that came from the theology that I was taught growing up, where it was like, yeah, you're supposed to be basically a perfect believer. Like you can, like the goal was. Now this is a whole theological concept that a lot of people don't necessarily agree on, depending on the denomination.
Yeah.
However, what I know is clear is, as a believer, you will always struggle with sin.
Right.
Struggling doesn't mean that you're falling to sin, but it's a temptation, right?
Yeah.
Paul talks about it in 1 Timothy, where he's like, I am the chief sinner. You should be the biggest sinner that you know. If you feel like other people are more sinful than you, then you log in your eye, right? Anyways, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, when I first started, it was a desire to create Christian clothes and also remind people of their identity of sinner to saint. I'm a saint.
Yeah.
Right? So if you look at the logo, there's an S that has horns, which represents the devil. Then there's an S with a halo, saint, angel, whatever.
Yeah.
As I've grown in this journey of understanding what I come to believe theologically, it's like, okay, yeah, this war would sin. Like, read Romans 6-8. That would probably articulate what
we talked
it
about that.
represents for me now. It's like, yeah, you have this sin nature that you have to choose to be a saint over every day. And so as I've gone through my struggles, it's kind of like grown with me and my understanding. And so the goal for the brand at first was like, have a cool Christian brand that represents the faith. And I had some cool designs, I guess, when I first started, but I feel like as I've grown as a believer and the Holy Spirit speaks to me about a lot of my designs, it allows for a gospel conversation to happen. For me, it's genuinely a tool to advance the kingdom of God. And so a lot of my designs now come from the Holy Spirit, and it's like, people tell me all the time, John, I was able to have a conversation about the gospel because of this piece. Somebody asked me, what's the dead man walking? I got to tell them I got to crucify my flesh. I got to deny myself. I got to carry my cross daily.
That's real. Yeah. Bro, funny thing, I haven't told you this yet. So when I went home for the holidays, I was wearing the new creature short. So I walk in. I was like, what is that? He's like, it's Creed. It's like new creature. She's like, why is it broken up? And I was telling her, explaining it was like that the whole that is why it's broken up, to like make you kind of look at it and like see like, wait, that's supposed to say creature, and it's supposed to like spark a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom couldn't wrap her head around it
funny.
really. And I was like, Mom, you understand, like the reason why this shirt is made like this is why we're having the conversation right now. It's like that's so I'll put the shirt up so people know what it is on when I edit. But like, no, I forgot to tell you that. But like, nah, yeah, cause your clothes are very thought provoking, and I think also with a lot of other Christian brands, they're also used as evangelism tools.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, to kind of spark that conversation. It's like someone says the new creature shirt is like, oh, what is that supposed to mean? It's like a new creature in Christ, you know. So like things like that. And I'll let you speak kind of more on the different pieces you've had with, because I know like probably the most prominent ones are the Dead Man Walking and the new creature tee. So like, can you talk about like kind of how those came about and where you were at with those?
Yeah, it's funny. So one of my most popular pieces when I first started dropping was the Focus on Jesus tee, which is it's two eyes that have a cross on the inside of them. It says Focus on Jesus, and that came from like Hebrews 12:1-3. And it's funny how that even came together, because the eyes are from D Savage, his album.
Yo, D Savage.
Yeah,
that's a crazy pull.
I tweaked it a little bit in my graphic design, and it was so funny. I was worried. I was like, yo, reached out to the manager. I'm like, yo, can I use this design? Because I don't want to get like whatever.
Copyrighted.
Never responded.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. I'm going to just run with it.
Yeah.
So even there, it's like something that's sinful gets redeemed to something that points to God.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So then another one that I have is The Sin Can't Hold Me Ransom, and the cutout is a ransom letter. So that one stems from Romans 6, where it's like, okay, are you a slave to sin or are you a slave to righteousness? And so a lot of people don't realize, like, the way that slavery is talked about in the Bible, especially in that passage, slavery was different. You could enter yourself into slavery so that you could pay off a debt, pay off a ransom. And so Paul is basically saying you're entering into debt by being a slave to sin, but you're also trying to pay that sin debt off with more sin. And so it's like, you don't want sin to hold you ransom anymore. Like,
right.
Sin is holding you hostage. So that's where that one came from. And the front says Scrimmer. It is the acronyms. So people are like, well, what does Scrimmer mean? Point to the back. You talk about it.
That's good.
I have my No Greater Love hoodie. That one says no, and then it has the greater than sign, love.
Yeah.
And that one stems from the I Love New York And so as you can see, as I
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
these
that's
things,
right.
bro, like a lot of it is connected to culture. It's just
Yeah.
being redeemed. So sinner to saint once again. Like
Yeah.
the Holy Spirit just showed me. So
It's all
when I
connected.
was a graphic design major, I did a project on somebody named Milton Glaser, who's the one that came up with the I Love New York design. So
Mhm.
like a lot of this stuff is just recall for me,
Yeah.
like how God speaks to me.
That's good.
So then now I'm finna do a Valentine's Day drop, and I gotta talk about, oh yeah, like
Hey.
your boyfriend, girlfriend love you, but there's no greater love than this.
Yeah.
And then the dead man walking, that's just like a daily reminder to me to like crucify my flesh. That's one of the hardest things to do as a believer every day. That's the thing I struggle with most. Is like, dang, bro. So a dead man walking is just to remember, like, hey, kill yourself. Like,
Yo, that,
like hold on, bro.
no,
hold on, bro.
that sounded crazy.
There's a meme, dude. It's like sometimes you gotta kill yourself.
Yo.
But it's like as crazy as that might sound, Paul talks about it in Colossians
Yeah,
3. Put
yeah.
this to death.
Yeah. Die to yourself.
Works of the flesh. And so that's why it's a skeleton. There's no flesh on the bones.
Right.
And so
That's good.
I also like using that one. There's a lot of inspiration for that. One, a lot of Christians will see skeletons and they feel like it's not
It's,
like,
yeah,
it's
they
demonic.
say it's demonic.
So now
That's
you can
true.
have that conversation
like
with somebody
skulls.
else.
Yeah. All
And then
that, yeah.
there's a halo around the skeleton's head. When I went to Israel, especially, that was like super eye-opening to me about the rich history of like Christian culture. But a
Yeah.
lot of Protestants aren't connected to Catholicism or Orthodoxy, so they might not get the reference. But to signify a saint, there would be a halo around their head,
Right.
and so that's where that comes from too. And so the dead man walking says, "Deny thyself" on the front, which is a loose translation of two different verses. One talking about picking up your cross and denying yourself and following Him. But yeah, that's the inspo for the design. It's really and then like you said, new
The
creature.
new creature. One, yeah.
I got that idea from Basket Case, which is another that's another streetwear brand. If you know, you know.
Shout out to them.
I shout out them. It's a hypebeast brand, and so I broke it up intentionally, like Noah said, because it's like you gotta pause and read if you really
Yeah.
look at the design, because it's like, okay, I see a butterfly, I see what is new creature, and when people have to take a moment and look and they don't get it, they'll ask.
Yep.
And so now it's like, oh yeah, I got to talk about 2 Corinthians 5:17. Like, what does it mean to be a new creature? And my goal with my brand, with my content, and a lot of times, like when people talk to me, it's like I want people to see that you can be very normal and very passionate about Christ. The
Yeah.
clothes look good as is. But
Right.
now that you know it glorifies Christ, it's cool. And so a lot of times when people come to me and they get to know me outside of my social media content, they're like, oh, you're very normal. You're very cool. I just happen to be very nerdy about the Bible as well.
Yeah.
And so I try to bridge those gaps for people.
That's dope. That's dope, man. One of my favorite things that you do that you're a part of is the Cove.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's such a dope space.
Yeah.
And having to have been a part of it on the back end of production, having DJ'd like y'all's last event,
Mm-hmm.
that was super dope. Creating a space, and people on the internet have different opinions on like what a Christian club and what does that mean and
Yeah.
all that, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's contradictory,
Uh-huh.
all that. But I see the people, and like I think we talked about this while we were there,
Mhm.
but like seeing the people come far and wide to come to this event where it's a space for young adults to be able to congregate and do it in a way where it doesn't necessarily have to be a worship night. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be at a church, although y'all do hold worship nights, but
Yeah.
like it doesn't have to be that. Like it can
Mhm.
be a spot where we're, just listen, like vibing. We got a DJ, we got music going, stuff like that, and it's kind of like a club party atmosphere, but it's uplifting Christ. Seeing people that really gravitate towards that and are looking for that, I think that's just a dope space that y'all have curated.
Thank you, bro.
I know you being one of the founders, and two of your brothers are with it as well. Like,
Yeah.
what was the inclination to really get into that? Because obviously that's something that's like, I feel like Christians, especially in our generation, have been wanting, but
Mhm.
like no one ever thinks about to do it and just start it. Like,
Right.
so how did that come about?
So the Cove came about because we were looking for community.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, if you know me now, that would sound absurd.
Yeah.
But at the point in time when we were creating it, my community was very small and limited. And we were like, yo, what's the play here? I'm playing it at my church. I
Yeah.
don't want to go church hopping to
Right.
find friends. What do? I don't want to go to a worship night all the time. I don't want to go to a Bible study all the time. And so we're like, why not start a Christian nightclub? Now, there's kind of two different origin stories. The reason why I wanted to start a Christian nightclub is different from like some of my other co-founders, because me and my brother Eric, we went to the Ark in Atlanta. So they were the first ones doing it. And I won't even say that. No disrespect to the Ark. Shout out JD. He's the owner. Christian nightclubs they're not a new phenomenon.
Yeah.
Michael W. Smith, he started one in the 80s.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
used to be a Christian nightclub.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
So they had them in the 80s. They had them in the 90s. Had them in the early 2000s. They usually just fall off just because of like the sustainability of it.
Yeah.
But it's not a new phenomenon. I feel like the issue is Christians' framework of what can be Christian and what can't be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of people don't really understand the expression of praise either. That makes a lot of churches uncomfortable.
That's good. Yeah.
So you go to a black church, people shouting during the sermon, affirming the pastor, glorifying God is like cool, normal. You go to a evangelical church, white church, you might hear crickets, even if he's really talking.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's also just the element of like the expression of praise being very uncomfortable for people. But we're like, hey, let's glorify God. Let's find community. Let's have fun. And one of the biggest pushbacks is, oh, Christian nightclub, oxymoron. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, you got to lean into controversy a little bit, but also it's the best thing to describe what we are doing. And a nightclub, if you look up the definition, doesn't have lustful stuff, doesn't talk about drug use and whatnot. And so it's just really funny when people talk about it, because it's like, okay, you're looking at it and you're coming up to your own perception definition you've never been.
Mm-hmm.
And our 3 rules of the Cove: no smoking, no drinking, no twerking. So people be like, oh, can I come if I'm LGBTQ+? Sure.
Yeah.
You get introduced to the gospel, because what happens? You're going to listen to Christian music. That's our rule. Only Christian music. You're going to have a worship set at the end, and we're going to pray for you.
It's good.
We're honoring God with what we do.
Yeah.
And as you can see, like, we met a need, bro, because there's people that their rebuttal is always, why not go to church? Why not go to Bible study? There's so much complexities to just finding community to that.
Yeah.
What happens if you're in Iowa? You go to you're in a town of like 500 to 1,000 people. Your
Right.
church is only 50 members.
Right.
And you're one of 2 young adults, if that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we've had people from Australia come. We've had people from Germany. Bro,
I met a homeboy from Africa. Like,
literally, bro.
like what? Like, I was shook.
So there's people that have come across the country, California, New York, all over, to experience what God has given us.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you there's a need for this. And if you keep telling people, oh, go to church, it's like, okay, cool. You're not understanding. Like, that is not what God wants to limit us to. A lifestyle full of Bible study, church, and that's it, bro.
Yeah.
God is more than that. Paul said, whether you eat or whether you drink, do all for the glory of God.
Yeah.
And you look at Acts 2, it's like they were devoted to the word, but they also fellowship with each other.
It's good. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we would just pretty much created a place to help people find community, and we've had couples come out of that. People get married. People find church homes. People, literally, bro. Like, one of the first times I prayed for somebody to I guess exorcism is the best word, to exorcise a demon, bro, happened at the Cove. A girl started manifesting.
That's crazy.
Me and my boys praying. He was like, "Yo, I feel like led to pray for witchcraft. I feel like that's something that's going on." Starts praying. She starts manifesting. I said, bro, that's not happening at a place that's not holy ground, bro.
Yeah, that's not
Like,
prayed up.
We're praying for these environments. We're
Yeah.
praying for these spaces. We had confirmation from our oversight. Our pastors are affirmative of what we do. My mentor is very affirming of what I do.
That's
and
good.
So it's like, we're not just out here willy-nilly just doing whatever, bro. We had a money test within our first like 2 months. Like, bro, it's just so interesting. It's like sticking to your guns is important. Sticking to what you feel like the Lord told you is important. So, like we said, our rules: no drinking, no smoking, no twerking.
Yeah.
Right. So we've never served alcohol at any of the events that we've had or any of the venues that we've had. The only time that we had alcohol at a venue was the last one that we did, because they didn't get the memo. We told them that they didn't get the memo. So if you ever go to a Cove event and there's alcohol, it's not us.
It's the venue.
It's the venue.
Shout out to the venues.
Shout out to the venues. And so I remember there was this Christian dating conference that was super popular. They're bringing out 1,500 people. They're charging $200, $300 a ticket. They're like, yo, we love what you guys are doing. This story was so funny. It was these 2 white people. It was 3 white people, but 2 of them was a couple. And she was like, yeah, like last year we had a DJ event and it was a Y2K thing. It was really dope. Wait, why did I say dope? I've never said that word before. I don't know why I
Oh
said that.
my god!
Mind you, all of our co-founders are African American,
my god!
Mind you, all of our co-founders are African American, and then we have one
Plus Mark.
What's Jim? Shout out Mark. Jim, he's Honduran,
Okay.
but if you look at him, he looks black. So racially black, nationality
Right.
Honduran.
Right.
So, anyways, it
That's
was just
funny.
funny because she was like, "Yeah, I never used that word before." But anyways, we were chopping it up. They're like, "Yeah, so you guys get your own promo code, and out of a lot of the ticket sales that you get, we'll give you a 50-50 rev split." So we're like, "Bro, 1,500 people, 50-50 rev split. That's a lot of cheese, twin."
Type.
Now, Zoom meeting's going exceptionally well. We're all eating it up. We're like, "Yeah, we're finna get a good little pocket change." And the last 5 minutes of them being on the call, the couple was like, "Yo, we gotta go. By the way, we're having alcohol. Hopefully that's not a big deal. You guys can talk to our secretary or whatever. You guys can figure it out." Dips out the call. Everybody's face was like, what?
That's crazy that they dropped the mic on that.
On that part.
That's
They
crazy.
knew they were wrong.
Yeah.
They knew they were wrong. So with that, what ends up happening is like we talked to the secretary a little bit. We're like, "Yo, we gotta talk this over." So then my brother, his godfather, is our manager. Shout out Nick. He's very tapped in with the entertainment space. He's very familiar. So he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm so sorry, guys. Like, if I knew that was gonna happen, I wouldn't even let them do that. They didn't tell me either."
Okay.
Oh, so now you're just being facetious. You're being dishonest. So then we had that conversation. We're like, "Bro, like, I don't know what we want to do. Like, it's a lot of money. We could use this." Fortunately, we all was like, "You know what? Let's just stick to what God called us to do."
Boom.
So we turned them down, right?
Got to.
Ended up having an event the day after. This was a New Year's event. So their event was like December 31st or December 30th. Ours was the 31st going into the new year. And so they had their event. Then we had our event. And we had people come from their event to our event talking about, "Wow, this is so different." It
Yeah.
was like when people started drinking, like they started getting lustful. I felt like I was an object there. I didn't feel safe.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so they were super grateful to experience what God had given us, and we stuck to our guns, and I was grateful, bro.
That's
And
good.
so it was a blessing. Like, even at that event, there was a girl who was a prostitute came in. My mom got to pray with her.
Woo.
Like, it's just, there's so much more ministry that ended up taking place as a result of the boundaries that God gave us that we didn't expect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a blessing, bro.
Cause that is y'all that's ministry. That is y'all's
ministry.
That is y'all's ministry, bro.
Legitimately.
100%. That's crazy. Do y'all have anything y'all been talking about planned coming up that you want to talk about, or can you talk about things that?
There's stuff I can't talk about.
Okay.
Right now, the COVID is on hiatus. I'll say that. But
Okay.
we might have something for y'all soon. We'll actually have a meeting this week, and I'll figure it out. We'll let y'all know. So,
Okay.
But if you look at the Cove page right now, we are on hiatus.
Type. Nah, bro, cause the cove is needed. It's needed in more ways than people think. Cause it's like to have that space is so powerful, and like what y'all saying, like the stuff that y'all have experienced, it's clear that it's Holy Spirit led.
Mm-hmm.
And that's huge because like to a place where like you can go and one, not feel like you're being like judged,
Mm-hmm.
you know, two, like it's like y'all are just having fun in the same way that you would necessarily in a secular space,
Right.
but it's just for God.
You know what told me we got it, bro?
What's up? What
When
happened?
white guys started popping out. First of all, if you ever go to a Cove, now this is not a great advertising point, but statistically speaking,
It's just it's more black. It's predominantly.
no, not even that, bro. It's mostly women.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if you were able to see as you
I
were
didn't.
peeping.
Yeah, I don't think
Our
I
crowd
didn't
was
peep.
like a lot of women, but it was heavily mixed. It's not. That's another cool thing. It's not mostly black people, bro. I'm surprised at the number of Hispanic people that have popped out. Asian
Yeah,
people that
that's
have
true.
popped out. White people that have popped out. If you look at our pictures, we don't have to fake the funk. Like you ever go to like certain, there'll be some Christian stuff. It'll be like, yeah, they find one black person, you'll see them spammed across their entire page.
Yeah. They try.
We
They
don't
gotta
have to
get
do
the.
that, bro.
They gotta get the diversity up. They gotta get that up.
We don't have to do that. We don't have
Nah,
to
for
fake any of our
sure.
diversity, but
That is
also
true.
an intentional targeted point because like me and Noah, we worked on our set list, and shout out Noah, bro. Like I don't run into many people who listen to CHH more than me, and that took a big burden off my back because I was making the playlist like every week. Every time we had an event, I was like, bro, I'm not trying to do this no more.
Yeah.
But a big emphasis for Noah and I was like, bro, you have to make this playlist more than Christian rap. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta have some reggaeton. You gotta have some gospel in there. Let's throw in some CCM if it fits.
Right.
And so, yeah, you know that you captured a demographic or you have something special when white men spend their money on that. That's just what statistics show. And so like I was surprised.
Shout out
I'm
to
like,
them.
bro, you look like you're from the middle of nowhere.
Right. And you
and
pulling
you're
up.
having a blast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, we got so official with it. There was people that would buy tickets and stand on the wall and watch. I'm like, this feels like a real club. You're not even dancing. Because, like, the emphasis for us is so different from a secular club. It's like we try to get people moving and grooving.
Yeah.
A lot of women love to dance. There's
Right.
a lot of people that just go to secular clubs simply so they can dance because there's no environment for them for Christians. It's like they don't even want to be there.
Right.
They just want to dance.
Just want to dance.
And so, like, seeing people, like, enjoy themselves, seeing people get to dance, seeing people like stand on the wall, be too cool for school. I'm like, bro, like this is a legit club. I don't mean that in a negative way, but it was just cool.
Shout out to the people that hold the walls up. Though. shout out to y'all. Every club needs them.
Shout
out to y'all.
Yeah.
That is crazy though.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, cause I knew y'all got it. Like I was saying when this was after this is when we were at the last event. This was after. Oh, and the power went out too.
Power went
that
out.
That was
at
so
our
crazy.
last event.
The
that
power.
last event in general was crazy.
Mid set. I'm not even trying to toot my own horn. I feel like I was like I was hitting it right, and then like, but then what was so crazy is that people were continuing to worship too, which was cool. Like no music, they were continuing to worship, which was great. But then. Like I told you, I met the guy from Africa, and like he came up on the stage to dap me up and like, yo, bro, you did such a good job. So we're talking like, yo, bro, where you from? Because I noticed his accent, and he's like, yeah, bro, like I'm from. I think he said he's from Congo. He said from the Congo. I was like, yeah, bro, from Congo. I was like, what? He was like, she was like, you flew out here like for this? He was like, yeah, like me and my friend, we had a whole week like planned to go, and like this was one of the events we wanted to go to. So they had they bro came to like kind of do a whole thing, but like he wanted
put
to
that on the list.
Yeah, he wanted to come to the Cove, and so that is insane. You know what I'm saying? So like stuff like that, like there's no
bro, people don't want to go home, and that shows you like I'm not trying to criticize the church, but there's just a lack of a need. There's a need that's not being met. Young adults don't have spaces to congregate. Most churches, what they tell you to do is like, oh, if you're not in high school ministry, you're an adult. And if you're not married, you're single, let's get you married.
Type.
That's the pipeline. It's like young adults are severely missed. And our emphasis and goal is not to get people in relationships, but that's just a byproduct of having a space where people gather.
Yeah, when you have men and women together, like that's just a byproduct of it.
I remember when I first started going to my last church. So I'm currently in a small church plant right now, but I was at Bethel Brentwood for a couple of years.
Shout out to Bethel.
Shout out Bethel. They had a singles ministry, right? And they
had a singles ministry
because every time they popped out, it was only women and like 2 men. First of all, that's crazy odds,
bro.
If you're showing up as a man, you're greedy. But I can't be mad at it.
No, you can't.
I can't.
And there's something to that too. When it comes to I feel like. I feel like when we go to ENC conferences, things like that. Like the demographic is mostly favored on the women's side. Right. I feel like, and that's just a thing in ministry though too. It's just a whole conversation. It's a whole It's like there's just more women. But yeah, go ahead. Like at the singles ministry, you were saying.
Nah, yeah, that was just it. I was like, I'm not going to this. I'm not finna be around a bunch of single women. Like,
yeah, nah, that's crazy. Like that's what it is. That's what's gonna happen when you put men and women in a room. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna happen. Now I didn't even know that no twerking was a rule.
Yeah,
and there wasn't any of it.
There was no twerking. I think we might have got close once or twice. It's probably happened before. I'm not gonna lie, but like that is a very clearly stated rule. Like we're not trying to see you. I was just on the phone with my boy Bryce G. Shout out Bryce G.
Shout out Bryce.
DJ, and he was like, "Yeah, man, we had a couple." When he was coming up and he was trying to play Christian stuff, he was like, "Bro, there'd be people twerking in that junk." So it's like that's a great rule to have.
No, for sure. It's so crazy because I went to a wedding, this past August, and they were a Christian couple. And they had Christian music and they had some secular music, but it wasn't secular music that was like crazy. But and I go and I see the people from my church that I used to go to. I'm seeing them there, and I see some people busting it down.
That's always such a weird conversation to have, bro.
No, it's so weird. I'm just like. And there's no judgment. Shout out to y'all. Like that's what
I love that for y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
Turn up.
Like that's what y'all doing. It was just funny. It was just funny because like you don't
Expect it.
you don't expect church people. One, how do you know how to do that?
Right.
Well,
Bro,
and
they
two,
be
and two,
doing it
why?
in private.
No.
Girls like to twerk. Like, that's a conversation that need to be had. You letting your wife twerk on you at your wedding? I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna let my wife twerk on me in front of my mom.
I just saw this. I forget. It was on. There's like a reality TV show. I don't know if it's on BET or WeTV. It's called Preachers. I don't know if you've seen it, but like they basically one of the pastors. I think it was his birthday, and like it was caught on video that his wife was first lady in the church was twerking on him.
Going stupid.
God.
Hey,
Twerking. Shout out to her.
Shout out First Lady.
Shout out to her. Shout out First Lady was twerking on him at the birthday party. And like they married, of course, but it's like, you know, I don't know if I would have.
That's a
you know
whole
what I'm saying?
thing too. When you talk about like even going back to like struggles with being a Christian content creator, you got certain things where it's like you're protecting your image as a means to protect younger brothers and sisters in the faith.
Right.
But it's like, now is that at the expense of inauthenticity?
Yeah. Yeah.
To like, listen, if my wife want to twerk on me in the private comforts of our own home, cool.
Yeah, for sure. Overly.
Cool. But it's like, how do I talk about that in public without it being weird? How do I let people know that's okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it's so much.
But is it okay in public? That's the thing. And like, that's the thing. And like, to each their own type. And, that's one of the ones.
You gotta be honest. We all got homeboys who was twerking or not. Not twerking. We do not have homeboys who's twerking. Yo. We all got homeboys who would talk about gooning to twerk compilations, bro. That was a thing in middle school. Like, bro was like really getting crazy to YouTube compilations.
That's great. That didn't make it over to Texas, but that's crazy. That's crazy.
Thing.
That might be just y'all, bro. The twerk compilations is crazy.
Because some people they be freaked out, man. It's
no,
like twerking really gets them going. So
yeah, for sure, overly.
Tough.
Yeah, enough on the twerking segment. But nah, bro. Yeah, no, I'm excited for the Cove, bro, so much because like just to see the levels that it goes up to, and like to see, you know, where it can go, because this is only really up. Like there's really only an uptick for it, because as people are more coming to Christ, I think I saw for 2025, I can't remember the percentage, but it was a really exponential percentage that Bible sales have gone up so much. And we're seeing that, and we're seeing people getting saved at an alarming rate, not just in the US, but in different countries too. And we're seeing Christian content be put in the forefront, which you can argue, is that a good or a bad thing, you know, to itself, but that's a different conversation. But I think we're just seeing Christianity talked about more as of late, especially in these past 2 years. And I think that's powerful, and it's guys like yourself who are really putting that at the forefront, and having avenues like the Cove to where it's just like, no, I'm not just an internet disciple. I'm not just, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, all that. And even that gets me thinking, have you ever met someone that's gotten saved like through like watching service online?
Yeah, there's definitely people that I have met that have come to Christ as a result of content that they've seen.
Yeah. I haven't seen that.
I've had people DM me talking about, yo, bro, like you introduced me to the faith.
Wow.
That joint's crazy.
That's huge.
Typically what I get is like, yo, you felt me grow. But when somebody told me like, yo, like, yeah, I became a Christian because of you. Like, you were one of the first people to do it. Like, I was following you for a long time. It's like, bro. And that's one of the things I was talking about earlier, where God has to remind me. These 146,000 people are souls. That's real people.
It's real
Maybe
people.
some of them are bot accounts. Whatever.
Shout out to the bots.
Shout out the bots. But it's like, yeah, you really do have an impact. The words you do, you share, carry weight. And so it's a cool feeling to be rewarded on this side of heaven for what you've done. Granted, the grand reward is in heaven, but it's like that affirmation keeps me going. Yeah. It definitely helps.
Yeah. Nah, man, because I see one of the most important moments at the last Cove event was not the music. I think it wasn't like the comedy. It wasn't like all the other like you could say kind of entertainment moments. Yeah, that what I felt in my spirit, to me, was when we were all wrapping up. I don't. You might have been in it. We were all wrapping up. I was cleaning my stuff off. Like, I think the lights had just come back on, and there's a group of brothers praying just off to the side, and like praying, like and I think it was like Jai and a couple guys, like they were all just like praying for a brother, and I think like that is what it's about, bro. Like that is what it's about, and that was so powerful to see and so encouraging for me, because it's just like, you know, who knows what was on the other side of that prayer for that person,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And who knows if had that moment not been created, you know, he would have gotten that prayer that he needed at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's powerful, bro, when you really create Holy Spirit filled environments, prayed up environments. And so I commend y'all for that, bro. That's huge. That's huge.
A blessing. Real talk.
Yeah. Lastly, is there like anything you got like coming up that you want to, you know, talk about, share with the people, brand, Cove, you know, content, whatever, like anything you going on?
Yeah, I always got something coming up next. So February, whenever this drops, definitely running a sale on some No Greater Love zip-ups. Make sure y'all stay tuned to that. They're probably going to sell like hotcakes once I actually put them on sale.
There you go.
I'm going to do a buy one, get one, half off probably. And then that's for the couples. You feel me? So if you're not, don't be greedy. And then I'm going to do a sale where it's like probably like 20% off if you're just getting one. And then also doing a song war February 7th.
Hey.
Alex Jean is going to be a judge.
Shout out to Alex Jean.
Shout out Alex Jean. Doing a lot of, putting on a lot of smaller artists. So that's going to be on Twitch, 6 p.m. Central. Yeah. Twitch.tv/St. John. Working on a fashion show. People keep asking me about that.
Yes.
I'm postponing that.
The fashion show.
Yeah, I'm going to push that probably back to April. There's some complicated things that's causing me to push back. But I'm doing a fashion show as well for Nashville creatives primarily. But if you're wanting to travel, want to come visit, like, you're more than welcome to come. So
yeah, those
are like the three main things that I got going right now. Choose one, choose all to support.
Tight.
Appreciate it.
Tight, bro. John, I appreciate you pulling up, man.
Of course.
This has been great. And God, I totally forgot about the fashion show. That's gonna be big. I'm excited for that. Because especially like, are you for the people who are wondering, is it just gonna be like Christian fashion? Are you just having all fashion? Is it all fashion show? Like,
so the way that I look at it is like this: if you're ever gonna do a Christian event, always invite secular people, secular things. Yeah, but you're the one in control of that domain. Right. You know what I'm saying, on some jujutsu kites and stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna have my boy Noah DJing Christian music.
Tight. If y'all want to hear some good music,
good tunes,
you already know. Pull up.
And so yeah, it'll be a space for all creatives, but it's definitely gonna be curated by a believer. Y'all will know that.
Yeah. No, that's what's up. Well, John, I appreciate you pulling up, man. We gotta end out with a song.
All right, bet.
If I can find it. Hey, here it is. So off the back, I'm about to play the song. This is the one that I produced for Efosa and Garco. But yeah, appreciate y'all for watching. YJP. Type. Bro, I want to see your ball of knowledge if you know the sample. The song that I sampled. You'll probably be able to tell towards the end.
Okay.
I've been in love ever since we met. You've been stuck in my head. You've been stuck in my mind. I'ma be replaying this how you walk down the all the time. Yeah, I really love when you kiss me. I really hate when you miss me. Yeah, you a princess. I wanna live in a castle just like it's Disney.
He talking about his wife, by the way, for y'all wondering.
Plays me with you. Yes, I'm 50. Yeah, I flew to your city.
It's hard, bro. I don't know the sample.
Yeah. You'll probably pick it up at the end.
Okay.
I remember I worked on this beat for like 2 days, bro. It was so tough for me.
That's crazy.
Not too sure what it's gonna take.
His vocals sound clean on this.
So yeah.
Fact, this love not fake, no. Walk by faith, no. Never by sight. My God getting you high, 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 take flight. Huh, huh, huh. Step back, roll. Step back, roll. Look at how y'all waiting. Look at how y'all waiting. Look at all y'all waiting. Look at all y'all waiting. Yo, hey. He's always been faithful.
Faithful to you.
He's always been.
Bro, I recognize the chorus, but I can't think of the name of the song.
It's Hasito Fail by Kenny Rivers.
No way.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Right there from the center for you, here, switching for the pesos. Take your time in space. Take your time in space. Take your time in space. Take the time in space, better figure out who you'll be there for. Oh, you'll be there for. Oh, big bag, that's a gym sport. Pick 'em up when you fall short. Fall short. We all fall short of the glory. It gon' take time, it gon' take time. We won't waste time, we won't waste time. Never hold nine, never wait. Never hold nine on your waist. Never be fun.
Yes, sir.
Fire. Overly tough. I don't have that in my playlist. I need that.
That song is called Christina by Garco featuring Efosa, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the bro. Fun story about that. I played this song on one of my homies that I knew from Austin. That's an artist. I played it on his live, and they were like, "Is this Yeet?" I heard it, man. Shout out Garco.
Garco.
But they're like, "Is this Yeet?" Like he literally said, "Bro, if you didn't tell me this was another artist, I would have thought this was Yeet."
Yeah. I know you real bad in that song too.
No, and shout out Garco, bro.
Shout out Garco,
It's hard.
he's
It's hard. He's over. Pause. He's overly hard.
We gonna end on that?
Nah. Thank y'all for watching, man.
Appreciate
This
you.
has been the YJP with St. John.
St. John.
Jon Diggs in the building. Catch y'all next time.